Well, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to When I Feel Like It O'Clock. I've just finished my Pilates. It's like, well, morning for me. It's like 12:30 in the afternoon, but that's morning for me. I'm just my masseuses are a little tardy today, and I'm not totally enthused, but it has given me time to sit down with you and do some teaching on the Arizona Coyotes. So I hope you have your pencils and papers out. And remember, if you need a pencil, it's over by the lube dispensers that we keep strewn about. Um, and let's get to it, shall we? Because I don't want people getting upset that I take so long to teach about these things. Um, the Arizona Coyotes, Chaka has been just doing some fantastic out of the box stuff this year. Uh, a little bit some I there he's not taking the normal route. Let's put it that way, and I love it. This is a good young general manager, very young for that matter, and it seems like he's going to speed up this process as fast as he can, and I think he's doing a hell of a job of it. Uh, so much so that if there's certain things that go right with this club, they could make the playoffs this year. They are in a very weak division. Uh, Besides Calgary and Edmonton, and I think Edmonton did. I don't think Edmonton really got better this year. Uh, there's really like L.A., San Jose's worse. They have Vegas in there, um, and well, Anaheim is good as well. But they just got Vegas. They got a lot of bottom feeders to feed off of, and and Shaka and the gang did a hell of a job of improving their club. Um, Kudos to them. They're for the forwards. They're Domi when that step on trade, and I didn't get into it. I should get into it a little more. I predicted the step on trade. I not to Arizona specifically, but it seemed pretty clear to me that they were going to go after Shattenkirk, and their biggest depth, New York Rangers' biggest depth, was up the middle. In which case, if they could get, they'd have to get rid of a lot of salary, and they did, and they traded Stepan, and Arizona did a hell of a trade, trading the first in a weak draft, um, and getting basically that's really all they dealt. They got rid of, and getting Ranta and Stepan, possibly Ranta being the number one goaltender. That we'll have to see, but I'll talk about that in a bit. But getting Stepan was for not only for now but for later as well. He's still a young guy. It was just a brilliant trade. Uh, that put him together, put those two together with a guy like Reeder that can play defense and put up some points himself, and you got yourself a pretty solid first line, something they haven't seen in a while there. The next, for the second line, there's a player here that could surpass Domi in as far as talent is concerned. Clayton Keller, that they picked up in the last draft, I believe it was, the one before this one. He is shaping up to be like a Paul Correa type. Fantastic player. And then another underrated player who I think is going to see make a big step up this year, and that's Dvorak. Uh, he is a two-way player, but he's got a lot of untapped offense. When I watch him play, I kind of wonder, why isn't this guy putting up more points? And I think it's just he hasn't put it all completely together yet, but he's got a lot of heart, a lot of drive, and I think you're going to see this year him step up and be a solid second line centerman. Then you have Declare, which you just don't know what's going on with this kid, but he is a kid. He scored 20 goals 2 years ago. Kind of crapped the bed last year. Only had 5 goals and looked lost out there. You know what happens with kids though? They lose their focus sometimes, and you have girlfriends or just enjoying the social life and just kind of. Sometimes you just have anxiety for no apparent reason. If you remember when you were young, and these kids are no different. I mean, just because they're exceptional in an area of life as far as sports is concerned doesn't change the fact that they still have youth issues that they have to get through. And I hope for Declare's sake that that's the case. And I certainly hope for the Coyotes' case that is the case. But if it is, you've got an excellent, excellent two lines already, albeit young. But then you have Perlini, and I'm putting Strome on the third line. And let me tell you, I'll be the first to say I'm not a huge Strome fan. I don't know what it is about these Strome kids, but they seem like their head is just not, hasn't caught up to their bodies. Like they I don't know, they seem aloof. They seem like I don't know, they don't get it for some reason. I mean, they're still fantastic talents, don't get me wrong. But you tell me as you see Strome play, and you're going to see his brother on the Oilers as well. There's something about it that seemed to be missing with these kids, and I can't really put my finger on it. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think Strome's going to play much higher than you might put Dvorak third. They're going to have a hard time finding a place for him. I don't even know if he's going to be able to play center in the NHL, actually. And then I would put Fisher over there, another exciting player that has a tremendous upside. I think he could be second. You could put Declare, Reeder, Fisher. You could mix and match these guys and see where they fit the best. I'm putting him on the third line basically because he's just coming up. In fact, most people don't have him playing this year. I think he will. Then you got even the little tiny pickups that Chaika did, like picking up Cousins, was a fantastic move because he's more of a fourth line player. This is going to be his comfort zone. He's got a good fourth line kid in Krause, and then Martinuk. That is a really good deep forwards, and in fact, in their division, it's in the division that they're playing in. They're deeper than most of the teams. It's Arizona's going to make a mark this year, I'm sure. Then you have Ekman Larson. Wow, what do you need to say about that for defense? Hjalmarsson. Oh, what a pickup! Well, you give up Murphy and like peanuts for Hjalmarsson. It was beautiful. Goligoski, which he signed a couple of years ago, didn't have a great year last year, but he's a solid guy. He never was going to be a superstar, but he's a solid guy. You can play in your 3-4 position and not only not hurt you, but play really good defense. You won't see him too much. He'll put up a little bit of offense, and but he'll play fairly mistake-free hockey. Then Chychrun, I mean, I've already got into that pick, and what was it, 18th pick that they picked two years ago or something. Why he went down that low, I still don't know. But he'll play in your top four. He might even progress enough to be up there with Hjalmarsson or Larson. It's hard to say. This is where it gets concerning, though. You get Shen, Wood, Clendening, and Connaughton as your next four, and that's just not good enough. They're going to have to improve in that area. If they don't have injuries, though, this team could really come close to making the playoffs. As long as Ranta steps up and is able to be a number one, even with the fact, but if they have injuries on their defense, forget everything I said. They're pretty much done. They're going to need to improve in that area, but you've got, you can still make trades. It's not the end of the summer yet. And of course, there's going to be players that are put on waivers that they can pick up that might be able to improve their depth. But overall, I think it's exciting for you guys. Man, I've gone long, 9 minutes for the Coyotes, but you know what? It's an exciting team, and I'm really happy for you guys. I hope you're excited for your team. Get out there and support them. We need you there. We need Arizona in that market. We need that market to succeed. My NHL Pearls of Wisdom. You check out I just did Detroit, LA. I'm doing all the teams up until summer. And subscribe, boys and girls. And always make sure that you're well lubed. Jaime's Body Lube, it's the best. There, I said it. Have a great day. Lots of love to you.